Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. I'm super pumped to share with you how you can get more deals, more leads, more ways to get properties. And we know that it's fantastic when we have leads coming in, have deal through. So we definitely want to have that. We have Matt Camp from Deal Machine on with me. Hey, Matt, thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, Dustin, appreciate you having me on again, and excited to chat today, man.
Oh, so it's so awesome that we have a company like Deal Machine to help us find deals. Because most of my students say, okay, I called up like 8 realtors and the realtors are looking for properties for me. I'm like, oh, that's just one way. I mean, even though you have 8 realtors, they're only looking at the same stuff. We want to do other things to find, as investors, how to capture equity, buy it for lowest than it's worth, find off-market deals, all that great stuff. But there's a lot of work that's involved. And what's great about Deal Machine that I found is it takes a lot of the legwork that us as investors have always had to do, for a longest time. So talk to us a little bit about what Deal Machine does and how that can help us in our business.
Yeah, happy to. And again, want to echo that for sure. I mean, going off market today is where you're going to be able to. I mean, it's so extremely competitive on market that going off market, going direct to seller is really where you're going to be able to find those properties that can get you the passive income, like the passive cash flow like that. And I think in general, how you can think of Deal Machine is we're a tool to help real estate investors, find and acquire those off market deals. And really, there's two main ways that we do that. There is our list builder option. So you can go in there and pull a list of properties by filtering out by very specific criteria. Can show you guys a little bit of that today. And really help you build a list of sellers that are highly likely to be motivated and be in a spot where you can help solve the problem for them. Or the other option that we're probably most known for is our driving for dollars option, which you can go in there and use our technology to bring technology to really a process that's been around for decades. Driving for dollars, like you alluded to there, has been a proven strategy that people have been using to land deals. And I know most newbies, that's where they get their first deal, is by physically driving around an area looking for distressed properties, looking for fixer-uppers, and then reaching out to those homeowners. But we want to just use technology to make that process way more simple, way more effective, and really proud to be able to say that we're the highest rated app out there for real estate investors. Have like a 4.8 out of 5 review on the App Store, over 3,500 reviews. So definitely really proud of being able to focus on serving the investor and making them more successful in what they're doing.
It does seem like as you're utilizing Deal Machine, even just like driving for dollars, or it's hard to find good deals, especially right now when it's a seller's market. A lot of my students are telling me, man, I can't find a property that's going to make me, because I always talk about making $250 a month in passive income. Well, in order to do that, you're going to have to buy it for lower. And the only way you're going to be able to do it for lower is if you're working hard and not just going with somebody's just, selling a house. You need to also find other sellers that haven't already found a realtor. So actually walk us through how to utilize Deal Machine, because if you're not watching this, you definitely need to watch this. It's going to be on YouTube. Matt's sharing with us his screen and literally walking us through how to use Deal Machine to actually get way more leads for our property business.
Yeah, happy to, Dustin. So to see this here, I mean, you can jump onto the dashboard right away. Your initial exercise within Deal Machine will be goal setting and being able to, like you said, to buy right, to buy at a price point that you can really cash flow from. I mean, that the goal here is you're going to have a good amount of leads, a good amount of properties to reach out to in order to get enough at bats to get to that point where you can find somebody who you can really help buy right and also solve a problem for them as a real estate investor. So coming in, the first thing you're going to see is a goal setting exercise on the dashboard, some analytics around who you're, how often you're reaching out, and things like return on your investment and how many mail pieces you have coming out. It's kind of an analytics dashboard to begin with. But the first place you're going to want to jump into if you're focused on our driving for dollars plan is the map right here. And when you're in the mobile app, you'll be able to see that pop up right away. Where it locks onto your location. Hopefully my internet connection here is decent today, but it locks onto your location there. you'll see black dots start to pop up around you, and that's every single property on the map. And we make it, simple and easy for you to start driving, lock on your location, start driving around, looking for properties that, again, the whole goal is to create a list of physically distressed properties. So, they might have really obvious things like a tarp on the roof, or gutters falling off, or boarded up windows, things like that. They might have a little less obvious, stuff like an overstuffed mailbox, or, just even things like decorations up that are 6 months overdue. Those Christmas decorations that are still, or even right now, Halloween decorations that are still up, things like that. I know our first hire, that's how he got his first deal using Deal Machine. So you're going to be looking for those properties. You'll be locked onto your location within the map here. You'll be able to click on, as you're driving by, click on any of those black dots to be able to see see the more information pop up about that property, and you'll be able to see that owner. Is it, the status of the property when it comes to the equity percentage, sale date, assessed value, things like that. Depends on where your location is and what data is going to pull in based on, what's publicly available. But you'll see, hey, is this owner occupied? Is it high equity? Is it absentee? Is it vacant? What's the particular status of this individual address? And when you go by and assess, like, hey, this is a qualified lead, you can just simply click add lead right here, and it'll give you, it'll add that to your list of properties, property owners to reach out to, and it'll give you a couple of options right away to be able to reach out to that owner and inquire about that property. So to give a couple of best practices here, what our most successful investors are doing, what our most successful Deal Machine members are doing, is they're immediately jumping into the app. They're driving around their neighborhood. They're starting to look for properties around them. They're using this highlights button right here, where you can click the highlights feature and be able to come in and say, hey, yeah, show me all of the absentee owned properties around me, apply preset, and you'll start to see these green boxes pop up around you. And that's highlighting, hey, here are all the properties around you that, again, first and foremost, you want to look for the fixer uppers, because that's the number one indicator of a potentially qualified lead. But in addition to that, these green boxes that pop up around you, that'll show you, hey, these are ones I should look really close at. Or these are ones that, they're fitting my criteria already. So maybe I should go to this area that has a whole cluster of them, or, it'll help inform where to drive, or, it'll show you like, hey, look really close at this particular property because it already fits this other preset. And it'll help this is a really qualified lead to reach out to. So, it'll lock onto your location. You'll see these black dots pop up around. You'll, highly recommend using the highlights button to start doing that, to start driving and using data to your advantage that way. And then
let me ask you a couple questions, Matt. So
yeah, go ahead, Dustin. I'm flying through this.
Yeah, I love it. I love the green highlights, because you're actually going to see these are absentee landlords. So also, what do you get not the situs address, tax collector, they call it situs. That's the physical location. You probably also have the mailing address. Like, how do you know we're sending it to the actual owner instead of just the property and the tenant or whoever's not living there? How do we know that we're sending the right person?
Yeah, great question. So you'll see here, you'll be able to see, whenever you add a lead, here we go. Let's see if we jump into one that would be absentee owned. So you can see here, hey, this is 5426 Rosa, but it's absentee owned by 5430 by the neighbor. So you'll be able to, when you add that lead through our data set, I mean, we're pulling in information on exactly where their residence is, and then you'll be able to know, oh, when I reach out to this lead, there's kind of two main best practices to reach out to that lead. You've got the one-off skip trace right here, which when you hit skip trace, we'll ping our database and send back phone numbers and emails. So that way you can reach out to them, whether it be through a call, text, email, however you'd like to reach out. Best practice is to do a little bit of all those things, because each individual owner is gonna respond more proactively to a different marketing channel, right? So I'd say being proactive about reaching out to people and doing that through the one-off skip trace is one highly recommended thing to do. If it comes back, sometimes it'll come back skip trace failed. That's okay. You're not getting that's free. You're not getting charged by any means for that. and it'll help you spend your time on, the right leads, help you kind of filter out the people that'll be easiest to get in touch with. But we're going to be pinging our database, sending you back phone numbers, emails, things like that, to really show you like, hey, here's here's the best way to get in touch with them. And then combining that with a mail campaign, a direct mail campaign. So the short-term feedback loop would be call them, skip trace, call, text, email, get some feedback on if they're interested, in selling there, if they're looking to sell there. And then if not that method, sending a direct mail piece is also one click away right here, where you can see, hey, we sent 3 pieces of mail to this particular lead, that's been delivered to them. You can see a couple of phone numbers here to be able to call, email as well, and kind of doing a combination of those things. That'll automatically go to the actual owner of the address if it's absentee owned. And those two things together are really what's going to get you your highest response rate and best result there.
I love it. No, that's great. Last question that I had, but I want you to keep going, is
Yeah.
I always love seeing how much equity is in a property, like how much they owe, like how accurate or how close to accurate is that information, saying how much equity is left, or, how much they owe on the property.
Yeah, I mean that data, that's all we're pulling that in as well. We're aggregating it from county records, but we're doing it in just a really easy way for making it accessible for you. So if you go down here, I mean, you can even see the county link of where that's coming from. And dig in yourself and try to find, hey, here's the sale date, here's the you can look at mortgage information, things like that. We just wanted to use technology to pull all of that and make it really simple and easy to view that information as in a one-off basis per owner. Yeah, I'd say like the high equity properties, that's a really, really good a filter to be looking at, to use that as a way to get in touch with people. And we just want to bring in data and make it really simple and easy to be able to access that one-off right in the app. So
that's great. That's great. That answers my question. So yeah, go ahead and keep going on how we can use everything.
Yeah, happy to. So I'd say that's kind of like the main functionality on the driving for dollars side as you're driving around and tagging properties. It'll also prompt you with a picture right here, a camera icon, and that'll come up where it'll say, hey, take a picture of that property. That's also a really highly recommended step, because you're going to double your response rate on any mailer that you send out. When you take that picture, it's going to attach itself to this property card right here. And any postcard that you send out, let's see if we can view the history of this. Any postcard you send out, you see that we sent one, October, November, December right here. The postcard itself is going to have that picture on it as well. So that way, when you reach out and say, hey, wanted to inquire about your property, are you looking to sell, however you'd like to word it, however you'd like to ask about that particular individual property, that picture is going to show up, and it's going to have a much higher chance of getting their attention and show that, hey, I'm your local investor. You drove by, you're not just spamming the whole neighborhood. Like, you had a reason to reach out. For a variety of reasons, people have a much higher response rate with that. Also recommend from a best practices standpoint, you can see on our mailers right here, I'll give you a couple quick mail tips. You can design your mailers right within the Deal Machine app as well. On our mailers right here, when you click on design, you'll be able to see those pop up with the property card here, and then, or the property picture there, and then a signature and an actual picture of yourself on the other side. All of that, if you can have a picture of yourself, a picture of you with family or a pet or something to really show the person behind that postcard, that's going to get a higher response rate as well. Like, highly recommend doing that. Coming into it, I'd say, being able to include some language around not necessarily focused on how fast you can sell their property, because it's a seller's market. They know they can sell it pretty fast probably, but coming in and saying, hey, sell without realtor commissions, or sell, leave as you want, leave it, as is, offering that convenience. All of those angles are going to be able to have a higher response rate right now versus just the blanket, hey, sell your house fast. I know that has definitely been a game changer for people. And then, one other thing I'd say, how to think about mailers overall as a marketing strategy. this is something that, you know, you're going to have to consistently put out there and stay top of mind to be able to be the one that they reach out to, you know, that a seller reaches out to when the timing is right. So if you're able to combine that initial reach out, that skip trace and, you know, call, text, email, you know, door knock, you know, that initial outreach to build a relationship with that owner, to, you know, qualify them on if they're even interested in selling, and you know, be able to kind of build an initial touch point with them. And then nurture that lead with these postcards. So you're staying top of mind, and say, hey, every, you know, once a month, every 2 months, every 3 months, send them a postcard until the timing is right. They'll, you know, at that point, they'll think of you as the one that they've gotten to know, and that you're staying top of mind, and you're much, much more likely to be the one to get that call from them. So I know from a mail tip perspective, putting them on that automatic long-term campaign where you're sending them a postcard every so often, really easy to do that in the Deal Machine app. When you hit send mail, and then, you know, be able to do that in a way that really gets their attention and really keeps you top of mind.
Does it? So we send it through Deal Machine, like we just get every
Yep.
pictures and we just click button, say go ahead and start sending the mail, and we can set that campaign up, and we don't actually have to fill out anything our own.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have about 10 preset mail templates in the Deal Machine app that you can just choose from, and basically set it and forget it and say, hey, send them this postcard, this template, you know, once a month. You can mix it up as well. So you can do an advanced mail sequence and say, hey, I'll send them this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. You can switch the size up. You can put in a handwritten letter as well. So we automate all of that for you, where, you know, you can see this leads view right here. You know, as you're jumping around the map and you're adding leads to your list, this leads view will show you every single lead. So like, here's the one that we looked at before. It'll pop up here, you know, since the skip trace failed, let's just start mail, and you can hit that start mail button, and it'll say, hey, you know, here, let me show you here. You know, it'll quickly pop up and it'll say, hey, you're sending this mail now. And you can actually customize that sequence to say this one's set for every 21 days and sending 3 total pieces of mail of this particular card. And you can even preview that card to see, you know, exactly what it's going to look like. So you can just, you know, set it and forget it right through the app.
And I love how there's templates, because like trying to create them from scratch is like, oh man, what do I put on it? Like you're basically making it so much easier for us to do everything.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, and we just want to make it easy for you to be able to reach out like that, and then consistently with follow through. Like I said, I mean, that's what's going to separate you. Like that is the thing that even our founder, like he would go out there, he'd drive for dollars, he'd write down addresses, he'd send off a mailer after looking up information about the owner. That took forever, and then he would send out one mailer, and then a couple months later, he'd drive by that property again, and it'd be, you know, somebody else bought it. And he'd say, man, I had a qualified lead, but I missed out on it because I wasn't consistently reaching out. And being able to use technology to do that, and, you know, be able to one-off send a mail, or even come in here and bulk select this mail, bulk select these leads to send out. You can go in here and just drive around, add a bunch of leads, come back to your computer, bulk select and send mail like that. You know, that saves you a ton of time, and makes it so that way you won't be the one missing out on that deal.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
One thing I do want to point out really quick here, this leads tab. So I showed most of the Deal Machine here, where you've got the mail, you've got, you know, your map driving around, your dashboard. You can set tasks for yourself as well to remember to follow up with leads. You can manage drivers. That's a next level strategy I'm happy to talk about on the next one of these, of, hey, building a driving team to go out there and drive for you and add leads for you. You know, that's another strategy you can use with Deal Machine. But this leads view, if anyone's familiar with Deal Machine already, this is all brand new. So you'll see this rolling out over the next, you know, couple of weeks, you know, a month or two, where the leads here, you'll see a list stacking feature right here, where you can see every single one of these leads, how many lists that lead is in within Deal Machine. So, you know, say that you're driving for dollars, say you're pulling lists out there, say you're importing lists from other you know, other leads that you've bought, or that you've pulled from the city, or that you've used another technology for. You can kind of use us as a hub now to be able to pull in all these variety of lists and see, hey, you know, if this particular property is on 5 different lists that I have, very high chance it's very, very qualified, very motivated lead. Possibly there could be all these different motivations there. So the list stacking feature is brand new. And then list builder that I mentioned as well. If you're not driving for dollars, if you just want to pull a list, you can open that list builder either through the list tab right here, or, we have an open list builder button now where you click on that and you've got a whole nother view where you can come in and be able to filter and say, yeah, show me all the vacant properties in my market, draw a very specific area, and Deal Machine right for you will be able to show you, hey, we've got, let's see, 1,322 leads that fit this particular filter. So, if you're not out there driving for dollars, if you're not out there finding these physically distressed leads, which are, the highest quality leads in terms of bang for your buck of, marketing dollars to deals they lead to, go in there and you can just use our list builder, pull a list of a bunch of leads here. And if you get really specific on your filters, you can start marketing to property owners, in a successful way in that alternative. And it's going to be more marketing budget, but less time because you're pulling a list of leads that way. So
That's great, man. This is definitely going to be such a huge time saver for lots and lots of investors. So I'm really glad that you definitely took the time to walk us through. And I think as people get to use the software more and being able to see how easy it is to actually find properties and then follow up with them, it's just so much better. So is there anything else that you want to share before we jump off?
yeah, I mean, that's the main stuff. I mean, I think within Deal Machine, again, hey, our goal is, step one, build that, help you build that list of really highly qualified, potentially motivated leads through either that list builder option to filter out and pull a list, or through driving for dollars. So getting out there, taking action, making things happen where you're driving around and creating that list yourself. And then step two is market to those leads consistently. So that means skip trace and take action, through call, text, email, door knock, or mailer, set and forget it with that long-term mailer. So that's step two. And then step three is, okay, you got to really consistently follow up. That is where you're going to really stand out from people, is if you can take action in a consistent way, continually reach out to them. And, that's where you're going to find these deals that are, it's a motivated seller for one reason or another. You can actually, you really get to know them, really pick their brain, ask, what the situation is, figure out how you can solve that as an investor, and, acquire a property that's going to cash flow in a way that you'd never be able to find on market.
I love it. Matt, thank you so much. So everybody, check out Deal Machine. You definitely need to check it out and you try it out. I definitely use it. It's really good software. So go to masterpassiveincome.com/deal machine. It's an affiliate link. It just basically doesn't cost you anything extra. It just shows that you're with me and my audience. So Matt, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing us with us Deal Machine. It looks like a fantastic software everybody needs to use.
Yeah, thanks, Dustin. And again, if they do go to that link, also, they're going to get a way better deal than just going through our site too. They're going to get 7-day free trial. And then when it comes to the skip tracing and the mailers, the two ways to reach out to the owners, they'll get over 100 free skip traces or 25 free mailers using that too. So we just want to make it easy for you guys to go out there, take action, use this freely, start to have conversations in a free way, and then, land that first deal, and reach out to me as well. I know we've had over 130 people on our YouTube channel so far that we've interviewed and talked about how they landed deals using Deal Machine. So we'd love for you guys to be the next one to be featured on our YouTube channel and help give you a platform as well. So feel free to use me as a resource, just Matt@DealMachine, MATT@DealMachine.com as my email, and reach out and I can be a support there.
Thanks, Matt. This is great. And I appreciate you being able to offer that out where 100 skip tracing and as well as the mailing. That's a really good offer. So Matt, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate you. I hope everybody finds Deal Machine and is able to get some great deals. So thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.